Hi, I'm Rahul. I'm trying to build an AI physiotherapist to make physiotherapy accessible to everyone on their phone. So I felt I had a fairly good plan, but I recently spoke to my physiotherapist friend in India, and I feel that the plan needs to be changed. This is day three of me publicly building this AI physiotherapist. So my initial plan was to understand from users how they want to interact with this physiotherapy AI and start building from there. But when I spoke to my friend, I got three major insights. Number one was patients typically seek help quite late after their symptoms have significantly worsened. This gives me a sense that there is an opportunity to make sure that the access to physiotherapy can be improved so that patients get the care sooner before their symptoms worsen. So if you have a physiotherapist AI in your phone, you'll probably quickly ask them a few questions and get the exercise plan sooner. So that's the first insight. The second insight is the physiotherapy diagnosis process is also quite visual. My initial plan was to use a combination of text and voice to collect symptoms. But what my friend told me, she actually observes the posture, observes the gait, and uses those visual cues to formulate a diagnosis. This gives me an indication that probably there has to be some sort of a vision and video element in this app that I had not previously thought of. The third major insight was I had assumed that the diagnosis process follows some sort of a decision tree where you ask a series of questions and the answers to those questions take you down a specific path towards a diagnosis. But what my friend told me was actually the process is not very linear. It can branch in many different ways based on the patient's condition, health background, etc. And sometimes it can also loop back where you revisit a previously discarded branch and go down a new path based on some new information. Now, this makes things a bit more complex, but I also believe this is where advanced reasoning models can really shine because they can tap into expertise across many different domains and probably start making connections with some human doctors cannot. So I think this will be a very interesting learning to take forward. As she kept discussing and we continued brainstorming, a couple of things emerged. I think I was able to express my idea a bit more clearly as it crystallized in my head. So, the objective of the physiotherapist AI is not to replace doctors. I don't think they can or should do that. But I am applying the Pareto principle that of all the cases, roughly 20% should be fairly straightforward, where all the symptoms point to one diagnosis. I think my first objective or the first milestone with the AI is to bring it to a level where it can distinguish whether a certain case falls in the 20% simple case or the 80% complex case criteria. And for all the complex cases, it will default to referring it to a expert. And for 20%, it will try and attempt to solve it by itself. So that's the first major epiphany for me. The second is I think I had incorrectly prioritized this plan. I had initially started by focusing on the patient AI experience. How would you converse with this? What kind of questions would be relevant, etc. But from the conversation, I realized that probably the first and the most important problem to solve is the trust problem. And this is what I heard from most of the people who gave me feedback, that they would find it very hard to trust AI. So I think this is probably the more important problem to solve first. That I should focus on whether the AI is good enough to diagnose the problem, and I can prove that before figuring out how the patient AI interface will work. So I'm making a pivot to focusing more on understanding where the technology stands today, and I'll be probably spending a bit more time figuring out which is the right model to use. How can I fine tune that model to for a specific physiotherapist use case? So yeah, instead of focusing on the user experience, now I'll jump into model evaluation and fine tuning, which is a completely new domain. So super exciting, a bit intimidating, but I'll keep everyone posted how that goes. Uh, while I'm doing this, I would love to have an expert panel of physiotherapists that I can reach out to for guidance and support. So if you know any physiotherapists in your network, I'm again making an appeal to introduce me, uh, and it will be amazing to connect with them. That's it. Have a nice evening, and I'll continue sharing more.